closer look at the citywide manhunt. We are joined by Wretham. He is with Investigative Solutions Network, Inc. He's also a former member of the Toronto Police Service Elite Emergency Task Force Special Weapons. So you have some interesting insight, I'm sure, into this story. And in particular, let's start with the fact that we've heard there's something like 9,000 officers that are involved in this investigation. From everything that you've done in this field, I mean, is this unprecedented?
Yes, absolutely. It's, but you know, you can never have too many police officers at this point, and it is unprecedented.
Why?
Well, just because of the fear that this whole situation has instilled in an entire city. We have to capture this guy one way or another, and to ensure that public safety and that he's not going to be out there continuing to strike this kind of carnage, yeah.
We see, you know, the footage of the Humvees and the SWAT teams, and they're all, you know, many of them wearing bulletproof vests and helmets and whatnot. There's still a real danger, though, to a lot of these law enforcement officers, depending on how this could go. If the suspect is heavily armed or dangerous, has explosives on him, as whatever the case might be.
Exactly, yeah. Sure, there's a danger to the police officers as well as the citizens of Watertown, and the officers have to be extremely careful, have to back each other up, and they have to go house by house, room by room, closet by closet, looking for this guy. I mean, their worst fears are that he's going to slip between their fingers and they don't capture him. I am getting concerned as time goes on that we haven't heard more about him being held up or holed up in a particular place, or that there hasn't been some negotiations. That there really, from what we're getting from the news reports, there really isn't any sign of this guy right now.
You know, but even though we haven't heard that in the news, that might mean, you know, authorities haven't told us yet. I mean, well, exactly. Is it possible, is this typical, that behind the scenes there are negotiations taking place with suspects?
Could very well be, but I think we would see a location where they have zeroed right in on if that was going on. That could be the case. Anything's possible, but I think we would see some footage of the police surrounding a particular building and with negotiations going on.
You mentioned the fear that this particular case causes, and it's really unbelievable to watch these visuals, to see the footage and know that it's really one 19-year-old person
Yes.
that's causing all of this, for 9,000 officers to be involved.
Yes.
I mean, I guess that really adds to the fact that this is something we've never seen before.
It is. We had a similar manhunt in Toronto here many years ago. Not as many police officers, but we had two members of the Canadian Armed Forces at the time came to Toronto and shot a police officer in the face. That was back in about 1991. And we had a massive manhunt for those two. And they ended up down in Maryland, where they got into a gunfight with Maryland police.
Talk to me a little bit about the tactical aspect of this. You know, we see these officers heavily armed, and they're moving from house to house. They're going door to door. In some cases, we see residents being asked to leave their homes. What happens? Are they actually searching houses top to bottom, going into basements and attics? I mean, is this what you think is happening?
Yeah, absolutely. If they are doing a systematic search like this, they can't.
They don't just go to the door and
no.
say, "Did you see this guy?"
No, yeah, and depending on what their information is, are they doing that to gather information at this point, or do they really believe that he is in that area? And if they have some information that they really believe he's in that area, they have got to go door to door, room to room, closet to closet, because if they just knock on a door and move on, someone could be held hostage in the basement, and they're not aware of it. So it's a really difficult and volatile situation.
Ron, thanks for your expertise.
Most
Ron
welcome.
Wretham.
All right, there you see why this is so time-consuming. If they're actually going these houses top to bottom, door to door, closet to closet.